Hello, I'm going to show you how to make this in Blender. But first things first, let's go ahead and get Blender. So go to blender.organization. Okay, download it, the latest version. Select according to your operating system. Now, so to start this, let's go and this is the startup file, the startup for Blender. This is what you're going to see when you first launch Blender. So let's go ahead and delete the camera and the light. You can see down here the keys that I use, and even the shortcuts. So first things first, let's delete the cube. Let's Shift A, add an image reference. But first, let's split the viewport. Let's go up here in the right up corner, and when this little plus appears, I'm just going to click and drag. Okay, we'll do the same here or here, doesn't matter. Click and drag. Okay, so in this viewport, we're going to press numpad 7 on your keyboard, and here we're going to go to this menu and select the shaders editor, or actually the shaders editor. Press N to hide that. Okay, we'll leave that here. Now we'll go to this panel, press N to hide that menu, and press Shift A and go to Image Reference. Right click here and go to Display Mode and select Thumbnails. Go to the location of your image. In this case is here. Load. Okay. Now let's go to this menu here, and you check the box, the Use Alpha, and drag the opacity a little bit down. Okay. Now let's go to our scene properties and see if our unit system is metric. So if it's not, just select metric. Okay. Let's go to the render options and see if the render engine is Eevee selected. Okay. Now let's go to let's go here, and the thing we should know is that 1 unit in Blender here means 1 meter. So we're going to scale up this image according to our units. So let's grab this right here and drag it. Zoom out a little bit, drag it again. This is 4, and I think this is it, if I'm not mistaken. No, a little bit more. Something like this. Just a little bit more. No. As you can see, I'm using grab and holding down shift to have a finesse in the movement of my object. If I'm not holding if I'm not holding shift, it's regular movement, but if I hold shift, you can see it becomes more smoother. Right? So I think that's about it. So I'm just gonna take this and move it right here. Okay. So with my 3D cursor right here, when I press Shift A and go to Mesh and Object, it will spawn right in the middle, because my 3D cursor can be placed anywhere in space, and when I bring up an object, it just puts it in the 3D in the space, in the environment when I add it. Let's go ahead and delete that. Press S, Shift S, and go to cursor to world. So it puts it back in the middle. So I can take my cube right now and move it somewhere in the middle. Press Tab. So we go to edit mode. There are different kinds of manipulations with my for my object. It's a vertex manipulation. When you press, that's when you press 1 on your keyboard. When you press 2 on your keyboard, it's edge manipulation, and when you press 3 on your keyboard, it's faces manipulation. Okay, so we'll just keep the faces on. So let's go ahead and see and just say G on the on the Z-axis by 1 meter. Oh, sorry, I had to select all the whole cube. So G on the Z1. Okay. Now I can select this face and select the gizmo here and drag it close to my image reference edge. Alright, right here. This one as well. It's not going to be the same when we're going to add the object, the image, so it's going to look a little bit different. Okay, so let's just drag this a little bit up, something like that, just a little bit more. All right. So press Tab, exit the edit mode. Let's go down here to Material Properties, and if we click this and see a material, we can click that. If it's not, we can create a new material. So either way, it's okay. So we have this shader, or principal shader. Let's go ahead and delete that. Let's click Shift A on this panel here and go to Shader, Diffuse. Okay, we can grab it and move it, just as we did in the other viewports. Okay. Now Shift S again. Let's add a texture, environment texture. Shift S again. Go to Vector. Look for mapping. Shift A again, input and texture coordinates. So what are we going to do? It's open the panoramic image. Select it. Okay. Let's click on this blue dot object with vector, vector with vector, color with color, and BSDF with surface. Okay. So we want to change the type. Well, we want to change this type to, let's say, texture. Okay. Now if you go here and press Z on your keyboard and go to Material Preview, we can see that the texture has been added. A couple of things we need to do is we need to rotate this texture. So we go to rotation on our mapping, and we're gonna add, let's say, minus 90.3. Okay, so it's been rotated. All right. Now we can see if we press numpad 1 on our keyboard, we can see that this line is not parallel with this line. So we're gonna do just that. So we're gonna manipulate the rotation on the y-axis and on the x-axis. Okay, so numpad 1, and we're going to rotate the y-axis. We can click, hold down, and press Shift, and we can see that we can rotate it smoothly. And same goes for the x-axis. So on the x-axis, I think we should add a value of 0.64. So let's go ahead and write down 0.64. Okay. Now that's been done here. Let's press 3 on our keypad, sorry, and let's rotate this on the y-axis. So I think it would be a value of minus 0.27, minus 0.27. Okay. Now, so far so good. We still need to tweak it a little bit. So let's go inside of the cube, our rectangle, and hold down Control and hold down middle mouse button, and we can zoom in. As we can see, there is a problem here with our texture. It's because it it doesn't know how to it's because of the location. So we're gonna I'm gonna drag it by on the z-axis, and we can see when we drag it, the whole thing comes up. And we're going to position it in such a way that all these, let's see, this line with this line and with this line should be aligned to, if we go in edit mode and select it all, actually select edges, should be aligned with these lines. Okay, so exit edit mode and let's position it on the y-axis, something like this, and like this. Let's see if this is okay. Nope. But this one here looks okay. We still need to tweak a little bit, but let's see if our ceiling is in a right angle. I see that this one is okay. So what we want to do is this line here should be right on this line, and we need to position on all of the lines on all of edges. So let's do that. So we're gonna work with location. We're gonna drag it on the x-axis. No, sorry, on the y-axis. Just a little bit like this. Here we can go to materials as well and zoom in a little bit just to see if it fits. Okay. So I think a little bit more on the X. Something like that. And on the Y as well. Something like that. Okay. Now, to make sure that it's okay, we go inside and we'll start to see if all these are aligned. So it does look like it's not. So let's go to faces. Actually, we can even go to this part here. Let's say no. Okay, I'll press this one, which is toggle X-ray, so we can see the lines even better, even if we use the face manipulation. Okay, so let's manipulate this. If we look here, I can grab a ceiling, move it a little bit, move it down, just like this, and it should be in the right position, except for this part here and this part here. So I'm guessing I'm just going to move it. Yeah, I'm just gonna move it a little bit on the, let's see, x-axis. just like that. Okay, let's go down, let's go inside and drag it up a little bit, just like this, so I can see that this line is almost, it's okay here, and it's okay here almost, but we still need a lot of tweaking to do. So in this case I like how how this position is here, so let's say grab the whole thing and just move it on the y-axis just a little bit, just like this, maybe a little bit more. Okay, deselect all of it by double clicking outside of it. Okay, this one is okay. This one, it's not, and probably because we should grab this, grab this and just move it inwards, just like this. So now this could be aligned, almost. Let's look here, and probably I think it's okay, but I'm not sure. Maybe I could just drag it just a little bit. Let's see how the image looks. No, it was okay. Let's see this part. It looks okay, and this part doesn't look okay, so I'm just going to I think I'm just gonna drag it like this. I'm looking at this part here, and I think I'm looking down here and here, and also looking at this. So I think I can grab this, move it just a little bit like this, and I'm pretty sure it's well aligned. Yes. Now we can grab the top part, move it up right here. Alright. So what are we going to do is separate the ceiling from the floor. So select this one and this one with holding shift, and press P on your keyboard and separate by selection. Now if we select something, we can still see that we can select the walls, but not the top part and not the bottom part, because it's been separated from the edit mode. So we're now in edit mode. So if you press tab again, we exit edit mode. You can see that by these menus appearing here, this is in edit mode and this is not in edit mode. So we have the top part and the bottom part, okay, and they're separated, which is okay. So now we can start to